Okay students, now today in the grade 7 lesson, so we are in the 10th lesson, fractions, right? So in this part I will discuss how to compare fractions, comparison of fractions, right? So let's see how to compare fractions, students. Okay, now in the comparison of fraction part, students, I separate it into parts, right? So first, in fraction part, I separate it into three parts. Then I'll discuss how to compare mixed numbers, right? So first see how to compare fractions, right? So I'll discuss using three categories right here. My first one is you can see here, comparison of fraction having the same numerator, right? Same numerator, right? So I'll explain you using a figure, right? So see, this is my figure, right? So you know this is a whole one, right? Whole one unit, and this one is whole one, same one, right? Now I am going to represent fractions, right, using these two figures, right? So this one you can see. Now you can see, student, this whole figure divided into two equal parts, and this whole figure, same figure, divided into how many parts? 4 equal parts, right? Same figure divided into 2 parts here and 4 parts, right? Now this figure you can see, now I colored one part, right? So divided into 2 parts, colored one part, right? In this second figure you can see colored one part also, right? Now you can see, student, fraction, right? Fraction represent the colored part is divided into two parts, that is denominator, one part colored. So this colored part as a fraction, that is half. So here, how to represent this colored part as a fraction? Divide into 4 parts, colored only one part, 1/4, right? So now you can see, student, in these two fractions, numerator here 1, here numerator 1, so that means numerator same. Now in these pictures, right, you can see this colored portion is greater than this one, right? So this one big, so that means this colored part represent by half, this colored part represent by 1/4, so that means this colored part is big, that means this fraction is big, right? You can put the inequality symbol this way, right? So now you can get an idea. What is an idea? If numerator is same, how to compare fractions? By using the denominator, right? So denominator say number of parts divided, 2 parts, 4 part, right? Less number of part mean one part is big, right? So try to remember that one, right? Now I'll explain using another example, students. See, this is my whole one, right, unit. This is the same one, right? Now I'm going to divide these two figures into parts, right? See, first figure I divided into 4 equal parts, right? Then second figure you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 parts, right? 8 parts, right? Now I colored, see, first figure I colored 2 parts, right? Second figure also colored 2 parts, can see, right? Now I can represent this colored part as a fraction of whole figure, divided into 4 parts, colored 2 parts, so that means colored part 2/4, right? So what about the second figure? Divide into 8 parts, colored 2 parts, right? So now you can see what is first fraction 2/4, second fraction 2/8. What is big? In the picture you can see this green color one is big, this portion is big, but numerator same, right? So this part big, right? So that means if numerator equal, how to select big fraction without figures? Numerator less fraction is big, right? So because if you divide into less number of parts, one part become bigger than the other one, right? So always we can't draw figures, student, right? So without figures we should compare fractions using the denominator, right? If numerator same, using the denominator. So let's see some examples, right? So this first example, 5/7 and 5/6, right? So the numerator 5, numerator same, so no need to worry about the numerator. See the denominator, 7 parts divided, 6 parts divided. Which part big? Less number of part is here, right? So that means if you select this fraction 2/7 and 5/6, 5/6 is big, right? So try. See another example, right? So this is my first fraction 3/8 and 3/5, right? So I take another fraction, right? 3/7. Now you can see in this all fractions, right? In this all fraction, numerator 3 equal. Now I want to arrange in ascending order. Ascending mean small one to big one, right? Now see how to compare using the denominator. So check the denominator. 8 parts, 5 parts, 7 parts. Smallest mean greater number of part divided, right? So that fraction is smallest, right? So you can see here 2 part divide into 4 parts, divide into 8 parts. One part is here. If you divide into 8 parts, that one is small. So that means if you divide into 8 parts, 5 parts, 7 part, you get a small part. One part is small in this part, right? In this fraction you divide into 8 parts. So this fraction is smallest. Ascending, small one to big one. So 3/8 is the smallest. Then 5 and 7. 5 and 7. Divide into 7 parts. Divide into 5 parts. So divide into 7 part is the smallest fraction, right? Then biggest one is 5 3/5, right? So that is how to compare fractions if same numerator, right? Same numerator. Right, students. Then move to second part. So that part say comparison of fractions having the same denominator, right? You can see in the early one same numerator. Now I am going to compare fractions which are same denominator equal, right? So let's see using a figure. So this is my whole one unit, right? Same figure unit. Now I'm going to divide these figures into parts, right? So but you can see same denominator mean you should divide into equal number of parts, right? So let's see, first figure divide into 4 equal parts, right? Second figure also divide into 4 equal parts, right? Same number of parts. So that means denominator 4, right? Now I colored, right? So see, first figure I colored how many parts? 2 parts, right? Second figure I colored 3 parts, right? 3 parts. Now you can write the colored part as a fraction. What is a fraction? Divide into 4 parts, colored 2 part, right? 2/4. This one also 3/4. Now you can see denominator equal mean you should compare using the numerator. How? In the pictures, which fraction is big? Which part is big? This colored part is big, right? So that means if numerator is 2 3, big numerator fraction is big, right? Big numerator. Denominator equal mean using compare using the numerator. So this fraction is big. You can put the symbol, inequality symbol in this way, right? So that is easy, right? Let's see another example, right? 5/9 and 2/9. You can see denominator 9/9. Don't worry about the denominator. See the numerator. Taken 5 parts, second 2 parts. So 5 parts is big, right? So 5 part is big, right? 5/9 is big. So that is Roman number 1, right? So then another one, see, 2/13, 5/13, and 8/13. So now you can see in these 3 fractions denominator 13 equal, right? Now I want to arrange this 3 fraction in ascending order, small one to big one, right? So how to take the smallest one? Smallest one means we compare now using the numerator, right? This is smaller, 2 parts, 5 parts, 8 parts. That means 2 part is small because taken only 2 parts, right? So 2/13 is smallest, then 5/13 is but biggest one is 8/13. You can put the inequality symbol if you want, right? You can separate by comma, right? So that is ascending order, small one to big one, right? See another example. 5/7, 6/7, and 2/7, right? 3 fraction. 7 7 7, denominator same, numerator I want to arrange, right? So another fraction is taken, right? 4/7, I want to arrange ascending order, small one to big one, small one to big one. Now you can see all denominator 7, compare using the numerator. How? Small, here is the smallest one, two parts, so that means 2/7 is smallest one, then 5 6 4 4/7 is somewhat big, then these two remain 5 and 6, 5 part 6 part, 5 part is less, then 6 part is the biggest, right? So that is how to compare. Okay students, now we come to the third part of comparison of fraction. Now in this part I'm going to compare fractions having unequal numerator and denominator, right? Numerator or denominator is not same, right? Unequal, right? So here I'm going to explain you two examples, right? See, my first example is see 1/4 and 3/8, right? 1/4 and 3/8. You can see denominator 4 8 not equal, numerator 1 3 not equal, right? So now I want to compare, right? So to compare, student, you should equal numerator or denominator of both fraction, right? So you can compare using the numerator, right? So if you equal numerator or denominator, then you can compare using the denominator, right? Now you can see here first fraction, so denominator is 4, right? Second fraction, denominator is 8. Now what I going to do is I going to equal denominator, right? In denominator here you can see 4 8, that means if I multiply this 4 by a number, I can become this 4 into 8. So that means I can write equivalent fraction for this 1/4, right? See, I take that fraction into side 1/4, right? So now I want to make equal fraction to this 1/4, but denominator of that fraction is 8, right? So what is the number I should multiply? You can see 4 should multiply by 2, right? So I write, so 1 multiplied by 2, that is 2, 4 multiplied by 2, that is 8, right? You should multiply both numerator and denominator by 2, right? So that means 1/4 is equal to 2/8. So instead of 1/4, I'll write 2/8, right? See, 2/8. Here this fraction no change, 3/8. Now you can see denominator 8 8, denominator same. Now using the numerator we can compare. Here taken 2 parts, here taken 3 parts. So if you take 3 part, that is big one, that is big one, right? So but they gave us to compare 1/4 and 3/8, right? So that means 3/8 is big, 3/8 is big, understand? Right, let's move to another example. See here 2/3 and 3/5, right? So these are my two fractions, right? So I want to compare. Now you can see denominator 3 5 not equal, numerator 2 3 not equal, right? Now you can see, student, here denominator is 3, denominator is 5. Now I am going to equal the denominator of both fraction, right? So what is the number? If you multiply this 3 by number, you can't make 5. So that means both should multiply. Both should multiply. Right? So you can find the LCM, right? Or you can get 3 multiplied by 5. So that is 15. 15. So see, I take the first fraction, right? So then I should make here 15. So that means what is the number should multiply? This one by 5. That means 2 should multiply by 5. 3 should multiply by 5. 2 multiplied by 5, that is 10. 3 multiplied by 5, 15. So 10 15th. So that is equivalent fraction for this fraction. Then 3 fifth, right? 3 fifth. So I want to make here 15 to equal the denominator. That means this should multiply by 3. This one also 3 and this one also by 3. So 3 multiplied by 3, that is 9. 5 multiplied by 3, that is 15. Right. So now I write equivalent fraction for these two fractions. That means this one is equivalent fraction is 10 15th. This one 9 15th. Now you can see. Now compare these two. Denominator 15 15 equal numerator 10 parts 9 part, big one 10 parts, 10 part is big, right? So if you compare these two, this one is big, but they have given 2/3 and 3/5. Which one big? This one big, mean this is the equivalent fraction for this one. That means 2/3 is big fraction. Okay, now move to comparison of mixed numbers, right, student? Earlier we discussed how to compare fractions, right? So now in your lesson, grade 7 lesson, how to compare mixed numbers, right? So I'll discuss mixed numbers using two parts, right? So separate into two parts, right? So one is uh, equal whole number part, right? So I'm going to compare mixed numbers having unequal whole number part, right? So then equal whole number part, right? So using example, students. So let's see this example. First mixed number is 2 and 3/4, right? So this is whole. You can see 2 is the whole number, 3/4 is the fractional part, right? So addition of 2 and 3/4, it become 2 and 3/4, right? So that is the mixed number, right? Then my second mixed number is, student, 5 and 1/3. Here whole number 5, 1/3 is a fractional part, right? Now I want to compare these two. Now you can see in this first mixed number, whole number is 2, right? Whole number is 2, right? Whole number is 2 means here how many whole ones? How many whole ones? There are 2 wholes 1. There are 2 wholes 1, right? So that is the whole number 2, right? So then move to second mixed number. Here whole number is 5. So that means how many whole ones? Whole ones. How many wholes 1 are there? There are 5 wholes 1. You can see 1 2 3 4 5, right? So that means nothing to worry about this fractional part. Fractional part means part of this whole one, right? So here 2 whole ones, here 5 whole ones. So that means 5 whole one is big. So that means if you compare these two, what is 2 and 3/4 and 5 and 1/3, this mixed number is big, right? So get an idea, whole number you can compare. Let's move to another example, students. Right, so this is first mixed number 4 and 2 seventh and 1 and 3 fifth. Right, now I want to compare. See the whole number 4, whole number 1. Here, how many whole ones? 4 whole ones. Here, 1 whole ones. Right, see, 4 whole ones, 1 whole ones. So 4 whole ones are there. So that means if you compare these two, 4 and 2 seventh and 1 and 3 fifth, this mixed number is big one. This one is big one. Okay, let's move to another one, student, different one. Right, here 6 and 3 fourth and 1 and 2 fifth and 2 and 7 8. Right, now I want to arrange this one. Right, 3 fraction, 3 mixed numbers, order. Right, so see the whole number part. Here 6 whole ones, here 1 whole ones, here 2 whole ones. Right, so don't worry about the fractional part. Right, now I want to arrange ascending order. That means small one to big one. Small whole numbers, here 1. So that means 1 and 2 fifth is the smallest mixed number. Then 6 whole ones and 2 whole ones. So this one is somewhat big than this one, right? So that means 2 7 8 is big than this one, bigger than this one. Then biggest one is 6 whole parts, 6 whole ones, that is 6 3 4. Right, you can put the inequality, this one big and this one big. Now let's move to second part, comparison of mixed numbers, student. In this part, say comparison of mixed numbers having equal whole number part. Whole number part is equal, student. Right, let's see this example. Right, one example 1. So 3 and 1 fourth first mixed number, and 3 and 5 12, this is the second mixed number. Now you can see, student, first mixed number, what is the whole number? Whole number is 3. Right, so that means here how many whole ones? Here there are 1 2 3 whole one is there. Then also fractional part is there, right? Second mixed number, see, whole number is 3. That means here how many whole ones? There are 1 2 3 whole ones. So now you can see, if you compare these two mixed numbers using the whole number part, you can't compare. Why? 3 whole ones, 3 whole ones, same. That means same number of whole number part. So that means now forget the whole numbers. Now you can go to the fractional part. What is fractional part? 1 fourth, second 5 12. Now you have to compare these two. Find the big one. Then you can compare mixed number, right? So in a site right here, like me, in a site, take the first fractional part only, right? 1 fourth and 5 12, right? 1 fourth and 5 12. Now I am going to compare these two fractions right here. How to compare fractions? Already we discussed. Equal numerator, no. Denominator, no. So try to make equal the numerator or denominator. So I like to equal the denominator. Here 4, here 12, right? So that means if I multiply this one by a number, I can make here 12. What is the number? 1 fourth should multiply by number 3, both by 3. Then I get 1 into 3 3, 4 into 3 12, right? So this fraction take. Now what is a big one? Compare these two now, right? So this fraction is equivalent fraction to 1 fourth, right? 12 parts, 12 parts. So then numerator, 3 parts taken, 5 part taken. That means 5 part is big, right? 5 part is big. That means from this two fraction, this fraction is big one, this fraction is big one. So that means this fraction has in this mixed number, you can see what is the mixed numbers, 3 1 4 and 3 5 12. So this fraction is big. Here you can see that means this mixed number is big, this mixed number is big. Okay, now let's move to another example, students, right? So comparison of mixed numbers. See my example, second example, 5 and 3 fifth, right? And 5 and 2 third, right? So now you can see here whole number in this first mixed number is 5. Here whole number is 5, whole number is equal. That means using the whole number part we can't compare. Now take the fractional part. What is the fractional part here? You can see 3 fifth, right? In the second mixed number, fraction is fractional part 2 third. Now take these fractions into side, right? Let's see, 3 fifth and 2 third. Now compare these two fractions. Find the big one and find the small one, right? How to compare, student? Directly we can't compare. Why? Numerator 2 3 not equal, denominator 5 3, that is not equal. That means we have to make equal numerator or denominator. So I like to equal denominator, right? So that is a common case. Denominator 5 3, what is the number equal? This one multiply by 5, this one multiply by 3, then you get 15, right? So try to make 15 in the denominator both of this fraction, right? So 3 fifth, what is the number should multiply by 3, numerator denominator by same number, right? So in this fraction 2 third, 2 third should multiply by 5, right? Now multiply and write here 3 into 3 9, numerator 5 into 3 15, denominator here 2 multiplied by 3, that is 10, 3 into 5 15. Now you can compare these two. How? Denominator equal, that means same number of part into same number of part divided 15. Taken 9 part, taken 10 parts, so 10 part is big. That means this fraction is big. This fraction is big mean in these two fractions this one is big, right? Because this is the equivalent fraction for 2 third, right? Now we found this fraction is big. That means if you go to mixed numbers, what is 5 and 3 fifth and 5 and 2 third, this fraction big. That means this mixed number has the 2 fifth fractional part. That means this one is big mixed number. Right, now coming up next, students, coming up next, what is lesson decimals. So keep in touch with Maths Globe YouTube channel.